Quickshot is an additive that we waited a while for AMSOIL to bring this out because we kept asking for it. It is to counter some of the bad effects of ethanol.
Yes.
And ethanol will separate from gasoline if left sitting. It stratifies, separates out. And in two-cycle engines, this is a real disaster because when you separate out ethanol and it gets in the bottom of the tank, because believe it or not, the gasoline will float to the top. And the reason for that is the ethanol also picks up whatever moisture's in the tank. And we all know that oil floats on top of water. It's in the Gulf, we see that now. So anyway, the ethanol goes to the bottom of the tank. And the unfortunate thing is all of the additives in two-cycle oil go with the gasoline to the top of the tank. So when you start a piece of two-cycle equipment and you pull pure ethanol in, it'll start on it, it's alcohol, it'll run on it, but there's no oil or additives in that ethanol. So it only takes that chainsaw or weed whacker anywhere from 20, 30, 40 seconds to seize up because it has no lubrication in that ethanol. We have a mower shop over here that we've had for years. What they say, Judy, over 200 claims? They turn them all down on warranty because warranty doesn't cover damage from ethanol. Okay, so they can't honor them. What do you call it? The manufacturer will not honor them because you have to have. You're required to put lubrication in your fuel, and if you don't put lubrication in your fuel, the warranty is void. So just because you mixed it up in there and then it separates, their basic thing is send Charlie Chris a bill. Okay, it's not their problem. So the new Quickshot prevents the separation of the ethanol and the gas. So it keeps it together, which is highly important for two-cycle for that very reason. Now the other thing that it does, it's a preservative or a stabilizer. It will preserve the fuel and stabilize it. What that means is it won't let the fuel react with oxygen. Okay, it's an antioxidant. So your fuel is stabilized, it won't stratify, it keeps both the ethanol and actually light moisture in solution because it's just going to be there with the ethanol. And the other thing that it does, it is an intense cleaner. Okay, it will clean the gunk, the gum out that's left by the ethanol fuel in the carburetor. Now, my personal experience was with this, I have a Gravely mower, a 50-inch deck on it that I inherited from my mother, and I use it on my 1-acre lot. And it just, the carburetor, the float in the carburetor was stuck so bad that the carburetor filled up with fuel and overran the top of the bowl the way it does it, and fuel poured through the engine and was blasting out the tailpipe. Okay, not good. So I had this problem. I let it all leak out. I took the gas line out so that it couldn't siphon anymore through it, and then I put the this Quickshot in the tank in the maximum amount, about 6 gallons in one bottle in the tank. And I decided just before I was going to call the guys, it's a big mower. They had to come with the Jordan truck and charge you $50 for pulling it up onto the thing and hauling it to the shop to fix it, right? And I was thinking to myself, well, this will be $200 for carburetor and $50 for the trip over, all this stuff, just a big pain. I said, well, you know what? I put that stuff in the tank, but I've never let it go down the carburetor. Let me do some banging on the carburetor to see if I could just get the float to release, and I'll hook the gas back up and just see if it'll start up. So it started up, and we threw a little bit of gas out the tailpipe, the muffler, and but it was running, just cutting out and running terrible, but it was running. And then I noticed that the white smoke started boiling out, meaning that it was only overfueling it enough to create white smoke rather than fuel shooting out the tailpipe. So I said, well, wait a minute, we'll give this a little chance. So in about 10 minutes of it running, the smoke disappeared and it was running a little bit better. So I thought, wow, the yard needs mowing. Let's see if this thing if it'll go. Well, I have to tell you that about an hour, takes me about 2 hours to mow the lawn. About an hour into mowing the lawn, this thing's running like a top. And by the time I finished mowing, this mower would in the past would never run at idle. You put it down to idle and it would run up and down and shake around and stuff. This thing runs like a top. I mean, it runs at idle, it runs better at full speed. It's just completely cleaned up. And I'm not saying this as a, what would you call it, as a shill. I'm saying it as, this is a last-ditch effort for me. I was fixing to go get this thing fixed, so I'm actually amazed that it worked like that. So from a personal testimony, I can tell you it really works just like it says it works. It cleans stuff out. The guys at the university said, oh yeah, you can put it in a bad running lawnmower and let it run for a few minutes and it'll start cleaning it up. We went, oh yeah, right, that fast. What, this is magic stuff. This is snake oil, the highest kind. And yet it did just that.